I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello there, Brian Saunders here, and I hope you're doing well in quarantine. Welcome back to another edition of Quarantine with the Stars, where I'm catching up with your favorite celebs to see how they're staying safe and sane in quarantine. Today, I'm joined by an actor, writer, director, producer, and entertainment mogul, Tanner Beard. Tanner, thanks for being here.
How much do I have to pay to say entertainment mogul?
Nothing at all.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, checks in the mail anyway.
I love it. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about so many fun things, your exciting career, how you've kind of worn so many different hats in the industry, focusing on what you're doing during quarantine, and then just all the fun stuff you're doing.
Yeah, man, the quarantine, like what a crazy time to just reflect, you know.
Hmm.
I've been trying to stay busy, but I think I've gained about 15 pounds. And
Same.
all of my rations were gone in like 2 days, so it's been embarrassing. But slowly as the days go by, I'm like, okay, today we're gonna get motivated. We're gonna jump on this. We have so many things to follow up with Mammoth Film Festival, which we were lucky
Hmm.
enough to just get to have. So we just been trying to pump out content and stay busy, you know, through stuff you can do at home and you might have kind of done at home anyway. So what are you doing to
Definitely.
stay busy?
Doing these fun interviews, which has been amazing. Yeah. And then watching a lot of TV for sure. Watching shows I've been wanting to watch. 911 Lone Star just finished. That was amazing.
Oh,
And then just catching up everything.
now you can watch We Summon the Darkness tonight.
I will. I am definitely looking at your
Pop some
entire.
popcorn, cuddle up with a blanket. Make sure there's at least a light on because it is a horror thriller movie.
Okay, maybe I won't then, because I'm not a fan of horror. I am so bad with horror films. Like literally, it'll haunt me forever.
You should Skype somebody in so you don't have to watch it by yourself. So you feel safe.
Right? Right. I live with family, so I'll probably just be like, hey, let's all watch this together just so I can feel a little bit safer.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
I love that. All right. So I know you're really focusing on like your producing side these days, but I know you still act. So as an actor, are you still doing anything to kind of stay sharp? Are you reading scripts, watching TV? What are you up to right now?
Yeah, that's a cool question. Man, I think anytime an actor watches a movie, they're still honing in on their own craft. You know,
Hmm.
I can't watch a movie and not be like, damn, the way he even shook his hand was interesting. You know, you're trying to steal from other actors as much as you can, especially like in this downtime where there is
Yes.
no real outlet for it unless you're actually I say there's no outlet for it. What am I saying? You can TikTok, you can Snapchat, you can
Yes.
do whatever you want. There's probably a bigger outlet for personal acting right now than ever. Even my cousin and I, Russell Cummings, we were shooting like a funny TikTok video the other day in the rain. And I don't think I would have never, you know, I would have not really found myself doing that as much or taking the time to have fun and go back.
Hmm.
It's almost like taking a step back and being like, man, we're making indies in the backyard like we used to.
Yes.
You know, that's how whatever you want to call my career, that's how my career got started, was just making movies in the backyard with your family and friends. And when we made that video the other day, I was like, man, I forgot how much fun it is to kind of get back to roots, you know. So but yeah, just toning down the craft. I mean, shit, it's reading scripts you never got around to.
Yes.
So people are like, "Did you read that script?" And I'm like, no, but I have all the time in the world now, don't I? No excuses right now.
For sure. I love TikTok. Literally, I can find myself. That's actually one of the ways I'm keeping busy too, just like on TikTok scrolling and laughing because they're so fun.
Right. Well, check out at Russell the Rascal.
I am, yes.
Some
I'm
funny
gonna do.
things on
I will follow you right when we
there.
finish this. I love that. All right. So, you've done such amazing work in the entertainment space, but one of your works that really caught my attention was The Best Worst Christmas, because I saw that you wrote, produced, and acted. So that's kind of what I want to talk about is how was it like wearing all those different hats for that one project?
Well, that one especially is kind of interesting because that's a movie that we're really trying to get off the ground. So we made this proof of concept that was able to wear kind of two hats. It was able to
Hmm.
be proof of concept, but also be like kind of its own short story.
Yes.
So we're kind of like, if we're going to go out there and spend the time to kind of, you know, like you said, I'm fortunate enough in this business to get to do quite a few things, but you know, one starts to suffer. It's like, man, I've produced 3 movies, but I haven't written one in how
Hmm.
long? Or I've acted in 2 movies, but when's the last time I directed anything? And when
Yes.
you haven't done those things in a while, people that are not familiar with your, you know, path in your career, which you're the leading expert on, they're like, oh well, you've been acting, but now you want to direct. And I'm like, actually, man, I started off. I just haven't directed anything for 3 years, but I've directed like 6 movies.
Oh
They're like,
yeah,
oh well, that was 6 years ago. What do you know about comedy? You've only done westerns, or you're always trying to fight. I think for
sure.
whatever you're doing. So I kind of admire the people that have more clear-cut, singular paths. I'm just one of those I think I'm just so naturally ADD that if I'm not writing it, directing it, producing it, it's like I got to do it all or nothing. You know what I mean? But it's cool when you get to just do one. Like for We Some of the Darkness, for example. My job was to be an actor on that set and to watch
Hmm.
all the other things that you're usually putting out those fires as a producer or director or writer or whatever. It's really nice, especially when you're an actor, because people cater to you and they feel like you can't do anything by yourself. It's quite lovely. But you're like, my job is to make sure I know my lines, so I'm gonna damn sure make sure I got that. You still, it makes me not want to make any mistakes when you're
Definitely.
only doing one project or one singular aspect of a project. So I don't know. I like the acting part, that's for sure. It's not easy street by any means. It's your ugly mug up there, but uh, but at the same time, it's like man, you're not having to worry about what time meal penalties or the trucks are coming in that day or anything like that.
Yes,
So, it's cool, but
I love
hopefully
that.
we'll make a movie.
Well, yeah, you obviously have such a great experience with it. So what I want to know is if you touched a little bit on it, but do you have any advice for actors who actually want to move to those behind the camera roles?
Yeah, I mean, it's simple and it's not. It's simple for me to say like, just go do it, or whatever you hear those motivational speakers say. But it's do it with the right people.
Sure.
To find somebody who's got good enough camera to be like, okay, well, we can use this camera and it's going to look very professional. That's like you already upgrading yourself from just doing it on your cell phone. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like to find those people, I think is a lot easier said than done. It's a little harder to do, but man, that is the key to success: is surrounding yourself with creative people and like-minded people,
Yeah.
and then just going out and doing it. Like I said, taking a blast from the past and going out and just making stuff for fun again was something that re-inspired me during this time of quarantine and kind of reflection. So getting back to roots. And so I'm kind of preaching myself as much as I'm saying that to anybody else. So
I love that. All right. So we talked a little about your producing side. So let's talk about one of your projects you produced, which is Voyage of Time. So
oh
I
man.
understand you produced that alongside Brad Pitt, who is, of course, a legend in the industry. So what was it like working with him on that documentary?
Yeah, I can't even believe I get to say that in a sentence, or get that heard in a sentence. But I feel like that is one of the most intelligently done documentaries. There's two versions of it. There's a long version, and Mr. Malick obviously is the Albert Einstein of filmmaking. Terrence Malick is people learn and study him in film school. All the
Hmm.
directors is always their favorite one. But there's a version that's a little bit longer that Kate Blanchett narrates.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
that I've actually only seen put out in Europe, that premiered at like the Venice Film Festival a couple years ago.
Hmm.
But Voyage of Time has a deal with IMAX, and it's
Yes.
you can only see it at IMAX, like for a long period of time. So there's been times it's like, man, I wish I could show that to my mom and dad and be like, yo, I got to work, be a part of this movie. And it's just a spectacle of filmmaking and science and just life and just, it's beyond, you know what I mean? But to say you got to do it with somebody like Brad Pitt, it's
Hmm.
almost like, all right, quit yeah here, pal. You dropped all these names. And it's like, no, it's just like work begetting work and working hard. And eventually you find yourself getting to be parallel with some people that you've admired your entire life. So that's
Definitely.
a really cool accolade that I'm probably the most proud of. Is that film is. I wish more people could see it, but IMAX it's like a traveling show. It's incredible. It's
Yes.
the version I saw. We were the first. Not to go on and on about it, but I'm so excited about that film. We were the first movie at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, to ever be an IMAX film.
Oh,
So
okay.
Voyage of Time showed on 80 millimeter at TIFF a couple years ago, and I remember being that like, man, that's a kind of a piece of history for not only that film festival, but for the filmmakers and myself included. So that one should have won an Oscar, man. I don't know how we didn't get into Oscar.
Yes.
Documentary thing it took like Mr. Malick 40 years to make that or something. And so we got tombstoned on that one. I don't know, but
Yes, you were robbed.
we should have got something.
Like Ariana Grande at the Grammys, you're robbed.
Yeah, we were robbed. We were robbed. We got Ariana.
I love that. You mentioned some of the names you worked with alongside Brad Pitt. You mentioned Kate Blanchett, and you also worked with Christian Bale, Natalie Portman, Knight of Cups. So, do you have any like fun stories you can share from working with those people?
I got a pretty cool story of when I kind of first got to meet Mr. Bale. It was in Berlin, Germany, and we were all kind of in there. And actually, Mrs. Portman, I can't even say their full names because so much respect for them, but Natalie was in the room as well. She's practically the same age. I'm like, Mrs. Portman is over there. But there was this really cool moment where I didn't really know him that well. I was very excited because I'm a younger, gentleman, and obviously this guy is very well established. He's Christian Bale. But at the same time, on paper, I was kind of his boss. So I, had the authority
Yeah.
to go up and be like, oh, hey, how are you? And I remember he just gave me, and I forget, that his accent is so thick, being from where he's at in the UK. And I just remember him like starting the story. I was like, "Hey man, how are you? So how was the the flight up here?" And he's like, "Oh my baby was like in the plane with me, and he's like he's looking at me, and he's like Matt," and I would look at him, and he'd be like Matt, and I'd be like Matt. And so we got into an argument with my baby, and I'm just like sitting there like I felt like Wayne's World. I'm like, we're not worthy of this like amazing kind of cool. All projects aside, kind of like real conversation with just a guy talking about his newborn,
Yeah.
and I just remember thinking like that was just a kind of like a really cool, like kind of a grounding moment of like, man, dude, like look where you are, at 30 something with this
Yes.
film, and it really inspired me to just kind of want to keep being able to live those kind of memories.
Definitely. Well, like I mentioned, entertainment mogul, you've had so many different hats and you've worked with so many amazing people. So you should definitely be proud of the career you've accomplished thus far. I'm sure you're going to be doing so much more.
Well,
So let's move into that. Let's talk about you. So let's talk about Silver Cell Entertainment.
yeah.
So what is it like to be able to like take your passion projects and bring them all to life?
Well, it's a luxury and a joy to be able to say you have a production company without question. But I'll tell you one thing, and this is real. If we want to talk like people coming up, or if this is for any younger or newer people to the industry,
Hmm.
and I've made about 30 movies across the board, whether it's been acting, writing, directing, producing, whatever, and it never gets easier. You'd think like, oh, that guy's made 30 something films. He could probably go out and make whatever he wants. It's a different ball game every time. And I think you'll hear a lot of producers say that. I've even heard like Nick Cassavetes. Sorry, I'm on a group text and I get
You're good.
things gonna go off like, and there's no way to shut it off. My friends love to talk. But anyway, I've heard like Nick Cassavetes after he made like a couple movies, he couldn't like he just made a gazillion dollars doing The Notebook. He like wrote Blow, and then all of a sudden couldn't get a movie made. And I just remember thinking, like how difficult is it going to be forever? And it's like I think that's the something, if you were going to try to teach, I got a little off subject there, but like if you were going to teach passion,
Hmm.
it's even if you think like, oh, finally got this accomplished, now it's going to get easier. I swear to God, it gets harder. It's like every
I'm
time you
sure.
have an accomplishment. But with that said, just like an athlete, it's like I've won a championship. It doesn't mean it's going to get like next year in the NBA or the NFL or whatever, you're going to win the next one. I won a golf tournament on the PGA Tour. It's going to get easier. Hell no. It's going to get
Hmm.
harder. You have people gunning for you. You have to prove yourself almost double time. And I feel like once I kind of accepted that, after like movie 15 or something, or even after my own first feature film that I wrote, directed, and was in, I was thinking it was going to get way easier. And in fact, it got harder because now you have more sights kind of zeroed in on you. It's like, okay,
Yes.
well, you've made a Western. Can you make an action movie? You've made an action movie. Can you make a comedy? You made a comedy. Can you make a drama? And you're always getting challenged. But I feel like that's what we're signing up for, right?
Hmm.
You took the athlete mentality about what you're doing. So I don't know. With that, I would say uh, I just like with Silver Cell, the Christmas movie, that we just did, we have the feature version is called Just Be Claus, and I'm like, man, if that gets made, what a success story to tell. So hopefully by this time next year, we're having the same conversation about Just Be Claus as a feature coming up through the ranks of a independent production company like Silver Cell. So.
Yes, I love that. We would definitely have to have you back if that does happen. And speaking of after all this is over, what are some of your goals, Tanner, after we get out of this quarantine?
Well, we're still very active with the Mammoth Film Festival. That is literally the fastest growing film festival in the nation. I run it with my co-founder, Tom McMansuri, Theo Dumont, our festival manager, Alexandra Chando. All of us work so hard. And even though it's a 5-day film festival, in February. I feel like that really has started. It's gotten so big, and people are really starting to look at it as, you know, a festival that's taking shape in the festival world, and people are wanting to come there. People are buying and selling films there now. Alone, the movie I heard just sold. We Some of the Darkness, which ended its festival run there, is now, you know, obviously out today. All those things like make it feel like what we're doing out there is really worth it. But that's become a 365-day job to really do it well. And then on top of that, you still want to try to like act in a movie that year. You still want to make a movie that year. I like to spend some time with my family out in Texas, and then you have Mammoth Film Festival. So that's all 4 seasons right there, you know.
Yes,
But Mammoth
definitely.
Film Festival's it's definitely, it's at the top of the food chain as far as like, you know, it's actually kind of why I haven't made as many films in the last couple years, is because we've been really honing in on that. We're really creating something special out there.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like I said,
Yeah.
after this is all over, I mean, would love to check it out. Cause
Well, we were lucky to get to have our festival this year, with obviously
yes,
gone on since the beginning of March, and we finished up March 2nd. So we were like, man, could you imagine if we didn't even get to do this year? It might have sunk us as an organization, because we're just a nonprofit organization out
hmm
there making our way in the world today. So we got really fortunate that timing wise, you know, it worked out.
that's amazing. All right, Tanner, before we go, is there anything else you want to promote? Shout out your films,
You
yourself
know,
on social
just really
media.
excited about We Some of the Darkness. It's got a great cast: Alexandra Deddario, Johnny Knoxville, you know, Austin Swift, Kean Johnson, 2 really great producers, Kyle Tequila and Jared Einson, you know, really championed me in that movie. And I appreciate those guys. That was a connection that was birthed from Mammoth Film Festival, and known Jared for several years. But you know, it was just I finally got to play a good guy in a movie. Most of the time, you know, I'm in a Western shooting up the town, or really bad things that my grandma always wondered when I was going to get to play a good guy. So I finally did. But I hope people enjoy it. It's a fun ride. It's a horror thriller, but I mean, it's just so much more than that. It's a lot of fun, and it's set in the '80s, which I think is kind of killer. And I think people are going to enjoy it. So just, you know, like I said, pop some popcorn, get comfortable in the seat, and enjoy the movie. It's on video on demand, iTunes, Amazon, everything right now.
Amazing. Like I said, I'm not really a horror buff, but I just might do it. I
No,
gotta get
I'm not a
some.
horror buff either, but I do like this one a lot. I've seen it a couple times now, so and I'm in it every time you watch it.
I love that. All right, Tanner, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, just at Tanner Beard. Check it out. And then if you're a golf fan out there, got some fun stuff coming up in the fall at Tanner Beard Golf.
Amazing. And again, what was your TikTok at?
Oh, at Russell the Rascal. I'll be showing up on his TikTok, but he's killing it on his TikTok. So check that out.
Amazing. We will definitely be doing that. I'm Brian Santos. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok
Yes.
at
Tell
the
Maria
Brian Santos.
Menounos I said hello, by the way.
Yes, check out his TikTok, my TikTok. This has been Quarantine with the Stars. Tanner, it was an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for coming on. Such great fun talking to you. To all of you out there, stay safe, stay positive, and most importantly, stay home. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.